meet people like Caroline Mutoko to do their hair. I could meet people like Nameless, and I think Nameless I did his wedding. Nameless and Wahoo. I could meet
Their
people
wedding,
like
you are the one who...
yes, their wedding. I'm the one who was the key stylist. I could meet people like Charity Ngilu, the governor for Kitui County. I could meet people like Ida Odinga, the wife of the prime minister. I could meet people like the former MPs, people like the late Mr. Kamodo's wife, people like Friend Ngumo's wife. You know, those people were, you know, who is who.
Yeah.
The wife of Jimmy Wajigi. Those are people I could meet by that time. So my name was like, I would say I was named celebrity stylist. This boy was born many years ago, left to die with no school fees, is now a celebrity hairdresser. So I reached to a point whereby I have touched who is who.
Hi people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a very special person. This person, I've seen him transform boy child.
Yes, thank you so much for hosting me in your YouTube channel. My name is Juvenaris. Yes, Juvenaris comes from, of course, the entire Machakos County. I know you know Machakos. And he was born a couple of years ago, 45 years ago. And Juvenaris went to locally, you know, the way you grow up in a village. I was educated in a primary school called Matetani. That is in Kikamba. Matetani. It's just a name, just like you can say Nairobi. But there is a genesis of each name. Then from there, I went from class 1, like a small child, to class 8. But when I was born, if I would probably say about my birthing place, when I was born, this is the child who was born out of a wedlock. This is the child who was born and the mother left the child because she was not expecting a third born and she was struggling to live. So my elder sisters, who are my stepsisters, keep telling me I was left and left to die. So one of my sisters is like, she spoke, she said, you know what, this boy you are rejecting, take care of him. He may be, you know, the way those years ago, he may be the rescuer of us. It's like she was talking prophetically. Then, because my mom was not there, I'm a child who was born without breastfeeding. I didn't breastfeed like the way other children breastfeed. Then from there, I was malnourished. I keep telling people like that, and I was malnourished with Kashako. I had rickets, you know, all those diseases of a young baby.
If I may ask, that time your mom left you, were you left in the hands or in the care of your grandmother or who?
Yes, I'm told I was left by the care of my grandfather, who was by that time very old. Villagers could come at our home to see whether this boy has died. So 2 years, I looked like a kid who is probably 6 months. When I was 4 years, I think I was not even walking very well. I was a child who was not fed good, but I think, and God had a good plan. You know, sometimes people may look at you thinking that you're going to die, you're going to not make it, but God has a plan for you. And I'm so grateful for my sister who dropped in high school from Form 2 to take care of me, so she didn't go to school. And she took care of me from then I joined nursery. I think I was around 7 years maybe. And after class 8, here I am. Then from class 8, being born in a very poor background, it was a big problem to join Form 1. In fact, I would tell somebody out there, I'm the one who looked for my school to join Form 1. The school that I was called to go, I could manage because I didn't get the letters. You know, when you are from poor background and everybody sees you as poor, there is that mindset of this, he can't, haezi make huyu, haezi hata tusipompea barua ya shule, hata haezi enda Form 1. Because I remember I was called Kaba and Machakos. Those were prestigious schools by then, even today. And I didn't manage to go there, so I looked for a school. I got a school which was, let me call it a school because I went there, I was accepted. And in high school, I also became so good, such that I was even poached from one school to another. So I went to Form 1 in a different school. Then the other Form 2, I went to another, let me say, bigger, better school, because I was doing a lot of poems, a lot of mashairi. I was narrating to the school. I was active, small boy, but doing so much by that time. I was a very sharp boy, very sharp, very clean, very organized, and above all, very obedient. That is who I was. Then clearing high school, I came to the city to join my mother, who was in Nairobi. Nairobi became Nairobian. And I think people who are really anxious about going to the city, they don't know what comes out when they go to the city.
You know, we think that by coming to city, what wa Nairobi wanapesa.
Yes, when people, it's a mindset for people to think Nairobi has money. So I came to the city. When I came to the city, you want to fit. I joined up with guys and young boys of my age, and we started walking the streets. What did I become? I became a street boy. I started, yes, became a street boy and started abusing drugs because you want to fit. And you know, fitting, you are with the peers. You know, you want to fit, you've come from the village, you want to be like them. So I came to Nairobi. When I came to Nairobi, I just became like them. Because if you want, we keep saying, when you go to Rome, behave like Romans.
I think, so you said when you came to Nairobi, you came to your mom. What happened, Ama, what happened in between there? Ukajipata kwa street.
Now, let me tell you, sometimes being in the street is not that you do have a parent or you do have a mother or father. They are there. Many times, many parents are there. But you find them, they are so busy, of course, looking for this money. And then the child, you're not also checking on your child. So that is how I mixed up. So in the daytime, madhe akienda job, mi niko na maboys, tukipeleka mataya huko. Peleka hizo mataya, mnafanya nini? You're also trying to start using drugs. Then madhe akikuja, si uko kwa nyumba, kijana mzuri. The following day mchana ikifika, wewe uko mtaa. And I was in a place called Kariobangi. That is Kariobangi, Kanyama, Korokocho, Eastlands. And you know, growing up in Eastlands, it's not easy. It's an uphill task, especially those people bringing up their children in Eastlands. So it takes a lot of responsibility for the parents. And no sooner did I know, I was getting to the world of drug addiction. No sooner did I know. So I ended up being one of, I became a key drug person because I got to a place where I got more of my freedom. So my mom is not asking me. No, there's nobody who's looking for me. There's no mentor. There's no person I can check on. And let me tell you, from 1996 up to 2004, I was in 100% addicted to drugs. And when I'm talking about drugs, it's anything that will make you anything. Because it comes to a point where you can use anything. That was me.
That time, what was your mom saying, Ama? Hakuwa anashughulika. She didn't care, Ama?
My mom, because she was also, unajua pia ukizaliwa kwa boma inakunywanga pombe. Hata mtoto akikunywa pombe, you understand. So if you grow up in a family whereby you are going to church, even your children will go to. If you grow up in a family whereby people are taking tea, what do you take? So my mom, my aunties, my relatives, most of my family members were abusing alcohol. So what do you become? And there is nobody who is questioning you. There is nobody who is asking. In fact, I remember Christmas Day when we used to have Christmas. We could be told, onja kunywa nini glass moja, simama na mguu moja. So that is an encouragement. And those are seeds that were planted in me. And back then, even in the village, my grandfather used to brew karobo. So that karobo, we used to even eat to test, and it began. Some of these things we do began. They have a genesis. So abusing of drugs is a genesis from my village, all the way from my grandfather to where I was born, now to the city, meeting the boys who are abusing drugs. And you know what? Birds of feather flock together. If you walk with kings, you become a king. If you walk with chicken, don't think you'll become an eagle. You just become a chicken. So I was in drugs, and I was good. And so, when you drugs, you don't even think. I was okay. I had no other. There is no other thought of I can become so and so. And you can imagine all those years. Well, because of, to cut the long story short, my turnaround came back when I got married. Because in that drug addiction, I was still doing a couple of things, trying ABCD, the way you try this, you try that. And I felt I needed to do hairdressing. So back in 1996, when I was in the streets of Nairobi, I remember I was at, there's this number, Isili where number 9 carries. I was seated there, And where we have Tuskies, where there was a Tusky the other day, there was a casino. So I went to the casino. I was doing gambling. When I was doing gambling, my money, all of my money was, you know, when you were told you borrow. My money was eaten by the gambling. Then I went back to the gamble. I don't know what I did. I think I just, the way you knock that, you used to knock that thing. Coins fell. That's all around 6,000 coins. So I had to take a paper bag and put. Then I started playing. Nikakulua 2,000. Then I remained with 4,000. Then I walked out. I took something. I was so high. And then I remember very well, while I was seated there, I had taken something that it's taken by Asians, Waindi. You know, you chew it. You chew, then you feel like the world is upside down. So when I was standing, I could see people walking on their heads. I could see cars going the other way around. You know, I could see things going this way. Then a lady, I remember very well, came and I was leaning on a wall because I was like, I was assaulting. A lady came and told me, what is wrong with you? I've always been seeing you and you have something in you. What would you want to be? And just arrogantly, you know, you are so high, said, I want to be a hairstylist. You know, and she told me, well, if I meet you here tomorrow, I'll see what I can do. And she went. Then the following day, I remember it was on a Thursday, she came, she found me there. She told me, what do you want to do again? I would want to be a hairdresser. Those are many years ago. There were no men hairdressers. Okay, she connected me to somebody. Then that person happened to know my mother because they work together. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, you know, God works in very amazing ways. Then she took me to a salon that was located at a place called Isili, a place called Kibigori. It was a very tiny salon. So I said I would be coming. And she told me I'll be supporting with bus fare. We just be coming because bus fare was around 5 bob. 5 bob to and from that was 10 shillings, which was a lot of money by that time. I got in there. My work was to just sweep the salon and clean the towels. And then to check on what is happening, what she's doing, how she's doing the hair. And I started becoming better. Although, now that became another den of me taking changa. Because Kibigori, it's Madare. So I started going to Madare. So I come, I do a few things, I run to Madare, I take changa, I come back. I'm telling you.
That time that lady was paying you by that time?
Because I was being trained, I was not being paid. Back in 1997, when things were becoming much better, the salon, thieves broke that salon where I was being trained. Who was the first suspect? Me. You. So I was taken to the jail. I stayed there for a whole week. I knew nothing. And because I had so many friends from Madale, from Changa, so the salon person knew. They thought I am the one who stole the things. Well, thank God my mom was there, and my mom, my auntie, and a friend of mine, and they took care of everything. And I was released without charges. And I thought, why is it that I'm doing what I love doing? Then I end up in the police. Yeah. When I left in 1997, after 1 week, I said I will not quit that. I joined another salon that was in the Jogorod. From there, I met a lady whom I worked with for 6 months, now without being paid. Because at least I've gotten some knowledge. I went there, I'm working for a whole 6 months. I was only being given lunch and bus fare. And I was like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Then when I was there, you know, sometimes patience is good and persistence is good. When I was there, a cousin of mine, I would call him a cousin because she came to me and told me there's another place whereby a hair man is needed, a hair stylist. So I went to a place called Unity School of Hairdressing. By that time it was Unity in Buruburu. When I went there, we were only 3 guys. I'm there, I'm looking smart, I'm good. Pombe nimeacha kidogo lakini bado nakunywa. Sijaacha.
By then, were you still doing drugs?
I was still doing drugs, but now I've become smarter. I'm not dirty. I'm clean because you are busy. So after work, bado unavuta bangi, unavuta sigara, na unakunywa pombe.
Before, you know, it's not like now we see men are flooded in hairdressing and beauty. Mm-hmm. By then, respondia watu ilikuwaje ama client?
Well, by that time, back in 1996, it was 1 out of 50,000. There were no men hairdressers. So it was funny. And some could call you all kinds of names.
Juvenilis, the hairdresser. What changed from hairdressing to taking care of street kids?
Well, before I got there, I would say, because a lady helped me. When I came to town and she heard about me, she started coming to the salon I was. So I started making her hair. I didn't know she was a pastor. So she started preaching to me. So I started becoming a better person. And I was like, what she did to me, I would want to do it to somebody else, but I didn't know how. So back in the year, that time, from 2000 to 2003, I could meet all the celebrities. I could meet people like Caroline Mutoko to do their hair. I could meet people like Nameless, and I think Nameless I did his wedding. Nameless and Wahoo. I could meet people like... Yes, their wedding. I'm the one who was the key stylist. I could meet people like Charity Ngilu, the governor for Kitui County. I could meet people like Ida Odinga, the wife of the prime minister. I could meet people like the former MPs, people like the late Mr. Kamodo's wife, people like Friend Ngumo's wife. You know, those people were, you know, who is who.
Yeah.
The wife of Jimmy Wajigi. Those are people I could meet by that time. So my name was like, I would say, I was named Celebrity Stylist. This boy was born many years ago, left to die with no school fees, is now a celebrity hairdresser. So I reached to a point whereby I have touched who is who. Yes, I've done the late Mama Lucy. The late, I did her hair when there was complaints about I am the one who styled her. So I was like, nani mwingine sijashika nywele? I've touched many people, I even can't mention all of them. I've gone everywhere. I traveled with the heliplanes. I went to Mombasa. I was flown like... I was a very key hairstylist because I used to appear on the newspapers every Saturday. Yes. In fact, I had a column on Saturday magazine. Yeah. So every Saturday, Juvenilis was on the newspapers. If anybody wants to know something about hairdressing, including the late Chris Kirubi, they could consult me. When the hairdressers from the UK, the US used to come to Kenya, or any new product was being launched, who was there to be consulted? Revlon, you know, Revlon, people like Eve Luga, when they used to come from the UK, I was the person who was being consulted. Guess what I had? I had a lot of money. So where was the money going? I was drinking a lot. I was also drinking.
You were still drinking?
Now, that time I graduated. See, I told you that I graduated from drinking changa, now to taking now the whiskeys, yes, the vodkas, the Captain Morgan, the Bozoi, the Smirnoff. Hey. I graduated and I was, because I had a lot of money, the influence also. I also influenced so many people also to drink and to follow me because juvenile celebrity. Where can you go? I could go everywhere. All the cabs in the city knew me. Madriver, watu wa taxi walikuwa wananijua because of that influence. So in the year 2003 is when God opened my eyes. I'm still drinking. I got married. When I got married, my wedding is one of the weddings that was only cards. It had the police, we had the police because of so many people coming. So it was only cards only. From that wedding, the evening, drinking alcohol. Then 2004, something told me, Juvenilis, the way you drink, the way you make a lot of money, the way you do all these things, what will be your end result? That was my turnaround. And I remember we were seated in a bar at Kenya Cinema, debating myself and a few friends while we were drinking. And I told them, you know what? Mi naweza acha pombe.
You're quitting.
I'm quitting. Let me tell you, peer pressure. They could not allow me to speak like that. They told me, where we catch a pombe? All the breweries will be closed. And I was like, what?
Does it mean you used to, to the way you used to drink,
I ordered for some soda, which I don't like. I ordered for some water, which I don't like. I ordered for some tea, which I don't like. But I had to persevere. It was a long night, and I remember around midnight, I had to leave them and go home. That was day 1. Day 2, week went on, and another week. They were telling me, wewe, Juvenilis, tunakupea tu mwezi moja. So I kept on encouraging myself. I didn't go for rehabilitation. I didn't talk to anybody. So what I decided myself is to go to a church. So that week, I thank God because there was something happening at a church called Jubilee Christian Church. So I went there. But from that day, that time, it was my turnaround. So when the following day I went to work, issues, mali ilikuwa nafanya kazi, vituko, sijui umefanya, sijui nini, then things started working not my side. So I had to leave that salon to another salon. So you can imagine a celebrity hairdresser who has stopped taking alcohol, kazini anafukuzwa mpaka na boss, Uju umefanya nini? Accusations. Kumbe it was God disconnecting me. So I went to another salon where I found people were born again. Yeah, because now I've given my life to Christ. Then that was a turnaround. No sooner did I know from that point, we were expecting a baby. That same month of 2004. I remember it was a month like today, September. So when the baby was born, in the month of, we were expecting, my turnaround was in the month of September. We were expecting a baby in the month of December. So that December the baby comes, dies. You are like, nimetoka kazi pandei, nimeacha pombe, nimeacha vituko, nimeacha sarakasi, mtoto ameenda. I'm like, wait, 2004 December, it's Christmas time, we are preparing for a baby, I'm a celebrity hairstylist. Hi, this cannot be serious. Kwani God, kwani niliacha pombe sieni nirudie pombe? I was about, but something told me if you quit that thing, don't go back there. So 2005, when we finished with my wife, it was quite a hard time in 2004 December. It was so difficult to overcome such. Some of the things we never talk. I remember that season I met two women who came to the hospital. They were my friends, but one of them was not my friend. So when they came, I think they were like angels. They were taking us through counseling, talking to us, mentoring us. And I was like, what is going on? After that, after we healed, I've never seen them up to date. So wherever they are, maybe they can remember and search for Juvenile Stalo. Then 2005, very well, that was June 16. I was doing Nameless's hair in the salon. So I had a discussion on radio about boys who were in the streets and they wanted to change. I took my phone, I called the radio station. I found there was the lady who was at the radio station used to be my friend. I used to do her hair, so she knew me. She said, guys, do you know what's called? One of the best Nairobi's finest hairstylists. He has said that he'll cut your hair for 1 year. So after this, you'll go there. And you'll go to Kosewe to have some lunch. Then you go to meet this guy called Juvenaris. So do you know what's with the boys? The none other than mcjessy. mcjessy was with the boys. By that time, he was not mcjessy. And then the three boys. So we met at Kosewe. When we were there, I looked at the boys, the way they were dirty, I saw myself. The way they are abusing drugs, I saw myself. So something told me, you have touched everybody. So nakumbuka ukisema hivyo, you have gone everywhere. Hii ni kazi. I was like, boys, do what? Then the inner voice told me, these boys, what you can do, you can walk with them. Just like the way this lady walked with you and look at who you are today. We ate some lunch, we didn't go to the salon to cut their hair. mcjessy came with a list. By that time, it was Jasper Mudomi. He came with a list of people who had already called to support because it was the day of the African child. He gave it to me. Him looked like them. The way we see him on TV, that is not how he was. He was in need. So himself and the three boys. So therefore, somebody had promised to pay house rent for the boys. I called the person, I knew her. One of the, the director of Ross of Sharon. I knew her. So when I called her, she said, Juvenaris, you're the one with the boys. Come here. I didn't disagree. Come for the money. I went, she gave me the money that same day. So I called my workplace and told them, you know what? I'm busy. I will not come to work today. So I come tomorrow. So I went to a place called Kangemi. I got a small house. The same place I went, I met a friend of mine called Jenga, who runs a children's home called Shangilia Mtoto Africa. He had also called to give 3 mattresses and 3 blankets. So I picked, we looked for a house, and it began. We didn't have a name, so I just put the boys in a small, house. Tiny room. The following day, when I went to see the boys after my workplace, I was just hearing something. Do something for these boys. The clothes you have, give them. So the compassion that I had when I was young, when I was a tiny little boy, started coming up. Yeah. And that's the birth of Street Nicers. Oh. Yes.